Hey everybody, this is Brian, or as I'm known online, comedy artwork. And I've been tempted to do some videos, and I've had people tell me that they would actually watch videos if I kind of went through the process of working on these posters. So I'm believing those people, and I'm going to give it a shot. So this is what I sound like, and I kind of consider this a test episode. We'll see how I do. I'm gonna just do a quick portrait of Ian here because I'm going to focus on the work I've done for Ian Fidance, who, if you're familiar with me, then I can only assume that you know exactly who he is. I met Ian a couple years ago back at the original stand, and by that time I'd already worked with him on some posters that I'll show you. I'm not sure how this drawing's looking. I don't think I'm very good at drawing and talking. All right, I mean, it looks okay, I guess. It could be Weird Al, it could be John Waters, it could be Ian. So let's get the hair going. And I don't know what he looks like currently, but this is, I would guess for me, the quintessential Ian look, the curly hair. I don't know. It doesn't look that great, but whatever. It's a drawing and it's done. So let me go through some of the work I've done for him. This is when he initially contacted me. He wanted to do his first poster that I did for him was going to be something, he said, Hunter S. Thompson look, something like Hunter S. Thompson. So if you're familiar with Hunter S. Thompson, then you know what the visual of his work looks like. It's always tied to an illustrator named Ralph Steadman, who's got the ink spot style, very crazy manic stuff. So I wanted Hunter S. Thompson look in a car because he's going on tour. So I was like, yep, sounds good. Totally up my alley. I like doing the tribute pieces. Here are some of Ralph Steadman's work, and these are the two drawings I'm kind of base Ian's off, kind of a tribute to those Hunter S. Thompson pieces. And I mean, if you don't know Ralph Steadman's work by name, you definitely have seen his work around. He's got a couple popular, I remember seeing recently just in the grocery store, a few, I guess, beer labels. So he's definitely around. And again, even if you don't know him by name, you know who he is, or you know what it looks like. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, so sometimes when I'm working on a piece, I'll work up a quick mock-up in Photoshop just to get a sense of what it might look like. Oh, and to backtrack, when comedians contact me, they will often have no idea, a very specific idea, or just like a style or a theme. I would put Ian's work, he just kind of gave me a, Ralph Steadman. That's all I kind of needed to go. So he didn't really need to give me a whole lot of immediate direction. So, okay, back to this. So I did just kind of a mock-up for myself to figure out what it might look like. And then I drew this. So this I drew mostly on the computer, but I printed off the face and what I did on the computer, and then I actually added ink in real life. Right now, I'm pretty much all digital on the computer, and but I'm old enough to where I was working all traditional oil paintings, ink, pen and ink, and eventually I would draw in real life and then color on the computer, and then eventually I'm just straight up working digital, which honestly, if I wasn't working digital, I wouldn't have ever thought to like work with comedians because I just did it for fun at first, not like a money-making idea. I just did it for fun. And the fact that you can do stuff digitally just super quick, super easy, as opposed to the time-consuming work to do something in real life. I think digital is what made me to even think about doing work for Comedians Possible. So this is what I worked on for Ian's initial drawing. I colored it. So I added ink to it in real life, then I scanned the whole artwork back in. And this was the first thing I showed Ian. I had a lot of dates on there and they got kind of lost in here. And he wanted me to kind of fix the cigarette a little bit. It got kind of lost. And he wanted me to add a passenger, which sounded like a good idea and would help the piece a little bit more. So I added a dog. I don't know if it's his dog or just a random dog I added. I don't remember. So this was what this was the second round. So once I showed him this, it was pretty much final, except they had a lot more dates we wanted to add. So we did a 2-panel Instagram post. So you'd have this first one and then you'd swipe to this one. Yeah, I thought it came out good. I'm not always happy with the work I do. It's always, you always see the flaws as opposed to what you like. But with this one, I was, pretty happy with, and it got a nice pop online as far as, likes or whatever, which is, I guess, how you gauge everything nowadays. So I was happy with it for the most part. And I worked on another poster for him. He was going to LA and he wanted me to draw him riding his bike on a huge, fat, juicy ass, in his words. This is just a conversation quickly. And I was like, yep, that sounds like fun. I'll see if I can pull that off. Sometimes I hear a concept and I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Sometimes I hear a concept, I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to do it. It'll be pretty straightforward. So this one I wasn't sure, because you're working with like the water and like making sure it looks like what it should look like, but at the same time looks like water, So this was what I showed him. This was my attempt at the huge, fat, juicy ass with a little thong. And I don't know, it just wasn't working for me. So instead of this one, well, I showed him both options, but I made this version. And this version works a lot better for me. Not a huge, fat, juicy ass, a huge, fat, juicy cock. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is funnier. It looks cooler. And luckily, Ian liked it. And, happy accident, as we say in the biz. And so, yeah, Ian liked it. That dick is so funny. Yeah. So awesome. So that's how one thing will turn into another sometimes. And I'm glad it turned out that way. And oh yeah, so between this version and this version, oops, shit. Between this version and this version, I did some tweaks. The hair in the original was looking kind of mullety and kind of wet. And there's just slight little tweaks that Ian wanted to do, no big deal. And fix some type stuff. I'll guarantee there's always one typo in everything I do, but that's just how it goes. So this was the final that he posted. And, it was fun. And I made this ridiculous Instagram story. So that's hilarious. And the last thing I'll show is this poster I did with him for his tour with Attell. He just wanted a poster with kind of an 80s space type feel, obviously. So not much to say about this, other than we went through about a million versions of the tour name and style. They were just trying to get it right, and Ian was very apologetic of how many options I went through, and this probably isn't all of them, but this gives you a sense of some of them. I mean, I kind of I like the Simple Space Oddities tour. I don't know. This one, I mean, that one seems simple, but we went with whatever that last one was. But hey, any chance I get to work with Dave Attell, I'll take it. All right, so I don't know. This is a thing I just did. I don't know if it's interesting. If anyone will want to see more of these, if you do, let me know. Go follow Ian if you don't. He's got a bunch of cool merch. He's got t-shirts based on music, graphics, a cool Bad Brains shirt that I really like. And follow me, comedy artwork on Instagram. I've got a store with, Dan Soder merch and Matt and Shane stuff. Those seem to sell really well. I've been focusing on the merch stuff since quarantine because there's been less poster work. So I've been focusing on that a little bit. And I do have a Patreon if you want to get a postcard every month from me. It's an in real life kind of thing. I try to make it worth $5 a month. But anyway, if you like this, let me know. If you didn't, you can let me know too. This is not second nature for me to do this kind of stuff, but I figured I'd give it a shot. That's it. Till next time, if there is one, see ya.